your ISU sports destination here on Z90.7 WZIS-FM Terre Haute. You're tuned in to Sports Extra.
Let's go!
Your premier sports talk show where we talk about everything from ISU sports to the pros, and we give our very own hot takes on it all.
Only here on Z90.7 WZIS.
A little bit of a throwback right there with that introduction. Shout out my man Joseph Moore and shout out my man Christian Hill. Doing great things down there in Illinois. Shout out to all of them. Love seeing it. Love doing all this. What's up, everybody? Welcome into your favorite sports talk show in not just the Wabash Valley, not just Indiana, but the whole wide universe. I'm Coby Clark, and today we have a special guest hopping on the show with me today. Introduce yourself, man. How are you doing?
Hi, I am CJ Cooper, and I'm so excited to be on this show, and I can't wait to listen to all these topics.
Absolutely. CJ Cooper, man, if you did not know, now you do. A star running back on the Indiana State Sycamores going into his sophomore year?
Junior year.
My apologies. Oh, man. You know, there's a lot going on in sports with softball and baseball. We're going to be talking about that, and then we're going to dive in, as we always do, transition a little bit into the pro scene as we take a look into the Indianapolis Colts, what they're going to do with that 4th overall pick, and then we're going to play a little bit of a game as the Indiana Pacers, with just only 3 regular season games remaining, CJ, it's looking pretty slim that they might make the play-in tournament.
Honestly, Coby, I know this might sound bad, but I don't think the Pacers will make the play-in tournament. And it's really sad because Tyler and Tyrese deserves this opportunity, but, man, it's going to be tough for them to make it. Very slim. We'll be joined later in the show when Ralph Council, another man here, the assistant sports director here at WZIS, he'll hop in here just a little bit, just running a little late behind. Don't rush him at all. He's doing his thing out there. But CJ, man, before we get into anything, I just want to talk what you've been up to. What's the life going like as you guys just recently started running up spring ball for the Sycamores football team? How's that going for you guys right now? Spring ball has just started, and it has been an amazing experience so far. This is actually my first spring ball because I'm a sophomore in the classroom, and last year I wasn't able to be here because I was a transfer. So this is my first spring ball, and spring ball has been a journey, to say the least. Right. It has its ups and its downs, but it's so exciting to be able to compete against your brothers. But not only that, though, just to be able to just play football in the spring, just being able to be on that field again and being able to just enhance your craft and just being the best version of yourself every day is just amazing. And we're excited for this season, and we can't wait to see what's the future of this program.
Before we get into anything, once again, I just want to say quick thoughts and prayers go out to everyone that's out there that was affected and hit by that awful tornado just this past Friday night heading into Saturday morning in the Sullivan County area. Hoping everyone out there is doing just A-OK and can get even better from this. And CJ, you and the team actually this morning, you went out there and helped a little bit in the community, clean up a little bit. What sort of experience was that like for you guys?
I think that experience was such an eye-opening experience. Seeing all those families lose their houses and seeing all those families just grieve. I think that the football team come together and just helping them pick up the smallest details, the debris, and stuff that, you know, when you first look at it, you don't think that you're helping or you're making an impact, but you're making a great impact. And just for us to be there as a team and as a family shows a lot about this community, and it shows a lot about our head coach, and it shows a lot about this community. And I'm just so appreciative to be a part of a team that will drive 30 minutes away and to just help somebody else that helps us, really. And a special prayer out to Dakota, who is from that area. And we're just thankful that he's okay. And we're thankful that we were able to help him in his lowest ability. But, yeah, I think that it was an amazing experience. And I'm so appreciative that we were able to be there.
Yeah, I mean, just seeing how well of a job that you guys are doing, it really does show how high and thankful this community really can be, because I grew up in around the Indy area, and that was like a huge family feeling and environment right there. And then coming out here to the Wabash Valley, where there's a whole bunch of teams, a whole bunch of schools in this location. You have all the Terre Haute schools, then you go to Brazil, you have Northview, you have Clay City, Edgewood, Linton, and of course Sullivan, North Central there as well. So West Vigo, shout out to them. But everything going around here, it's just pretty cool to see that we all have their back and everyone can support that, whether that be, straight up face-to-face or just spreading the love and the awareness on social media.
And that's what I love the most about this project is just seeing all our teammates coming out there. A lot of these guys are not even from this area. For me, for example, I'm from Hammond, Indiana, which is 2.5 hours from here. And we all were a family today, and we all were from Sullivan today. And just helping out the small details, I just really was appreciative, and it really was eye-opening. And I think that not only was that a great bonding experience for us, but I think it was just amazing to see that when we put our heads together and when we put all our differences aside and come together as a family, that we can do a lot of great things together, and I'm so appreciative of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to them. Hopefully they can really bounce back from this, and I know with everyone coming together as one, just a collective unit, a great team here, they will just be A-okay, and our thoughts and prayers go out to them once again. But hey, we are now joined in the studio with my main man, Ralph Council. Give it up for my man, Ralph.
What's going on, y'all?
What's going on, Ralph? Why are you late? I'm just teasing you.
On the radio, it's crazy.
I'm just teasing you, man.
Guys,
No, I'm just messing with you. You don't have to answer that, of course. We were just talking about, some things going on where we're just previewing the show about the Colts and Pacers coming up. But right now we're focusing on the Indiana State softball and baseball team. And I just want to get your thoughts real quick on just simply the fact of, before we get into sports, like everything going okay with you, checking in. That's just one thing I always do with this show is check in with Joe or whoever's on the show. How is the life of Ralph Council going?
it's getting hectic, man. One more month and 3 days.
It's a little scary, isn't it?
Yeah. That next step in life it's a little scary. Cause you never know. Cause I've been here for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's gonna be over real soon. You feel like these 4 years just flew by. I feel like I just got here in August, but now it's time for me to get up out of here. So
right,
it's getting hectic, applying for jobs and things like that. Just trying to figure out have something lined up for after graduation. Pretty
Absolutely,
much that's all
man.
I'm worried about right now.
Wish you the best of luck in trying to find something right there. But let's get into everything sports related. We're going to start out with the Indiana State baseball team, as unfortunately for them, they did take the L on Friday in their first UIC matchup of the weekend, falling in that one 10-7. But they had a pretty good bounce back matchup on Sunday in a doubleheader, defeating the UIC Flames 13-7, and then just absolutely dominating them in Game 2, running it up on them 10-1, sweeping them, moving to 5-1 now inside the Missouri Valley Conference. And when you take a look real early here in the standings of the MVC for the baseball season of 2023, they're sitting pretty well right now at second overall. The only team ahead of them right now is Belmont. Southern Illinois behind them, all three of those teams with a Valley record of 5-1. The only thing that's really pushing Belmont right now is the fact that they've played a little bit more games, whether that be due to weather or just, trying to find the timing and mix up well. But they're sitting at 17-12. Shout out to Indiana State, though, for real, because they've been really able to turn everything around. Going back to the beginning of the season, they had such high hopes, big expectations coming back from last season, didn't like how it ended, went really early out in the MVC tournament. Coming back here, starting it out just a little bit rocky. They went on a big losing streak, but they were able to match that with a winning streak of their own. I just want to start out, either one of you guys can answer this question, but the fact is, Indiana State, what's impressed you guys the most, seeing the resiliency in them in trying to be able to come back?
What impressed me the most, honestly, is just looking at this program and this team. Even though their overall record is 14-12, they're 5-1 in conference, like Coby said, which is amazing because conference games matter. And in that tournament, building that early confidence will be huge in the tournament. And they're 4-2 at home, so they know how to defend their home, which is amazing. And they're not bad away, being 8-6. So I think that this team is young, and they have a lot of developing pieces that will grow. And I think that right now we're 14-12, but I can see this team being very, very successful because they know how to win at home and they know how to beat their conference mates. So I'm excited to see how good that they can become.
I just love to see how they bounce back after a losing streak, because to some teams a losing streak means, the season is really getting tough. And, like, the season only gets tougher. Players get more tired, more fatigued because they do a lot of practicing and they have a lot of road trips being Terre Haute, Indiana. We're, like, in the Midwest, so we really have to travel far for some games more than others. So, basically just them showing their resilience and not giving up during the season and being able to show that they won't let a losing streak keep them down and fighting back every time.
Yeah, at a 7-game losing streak that dated back all the way to February 22nd against Miami. They would then lose a couple of games, 3 in a row to Northeastern. Then they went on the road to play Kentucky, lost those, but then they found their winning ways, going on an impressive 6-game winning streak against Southeast Missouri State, 2 games there, Memphis with a full weekend slate of games, and then a nice extra inning win against Illinois back on March 15th. And the crazy thing is, guys, March 15th does not feel like that long ago. It feels like maybe last weekend, and all of a sudden, I feel like this whole semester has just been flying by.
No, literally. Like, I went to first class yesterday, and now it's April 3rd, and we in there talking about final papers, and I didn't order.
That's scary.
Like, it's just crazy what's going on. Just feel like time is just warping, like just going so fast.
And I couldn't imagine, CJ, you could probably answer this question better than anyone, but being an athlete, a D1 athlete at this collegiate level, and seeing how just tiring it can be trying to get all of that stuff done and still be prepared for your matchup. Baseball, they have it real hard because they have matchups 3 to 4 times a week, whereas you guys only play once a week.
Yeah, for baseball players, they're so amazing to me because they're so resilient, because playing 3 to 4 games in a week while also being a student will have to do your math class and have to do a project. Like, it's amazing to me that they are able to be successful in the classroom and be able to just handle all that big load. Because for me, for example, Coby, like, we play on Saturday. I watch film from Monday through Friday, but I still have time to do my classwork because we practice from 8 to 12. Right. So our block is early. So from that 12 to like 3, I'm doing homework, and then 3 to 8, I'm doing film. So, but my film is only for that one particular team compared to baseball, where you're playing 4 games. You have to watch this film, delete that film, and keep repeating yourself and watching these films, and it can be challenging, but baseball players are definitely resilient, and that's why it's special to be at this level, and it's special to be a part of this program, because you have to endure a lot of things, but it will all be worth it at the end. Just having that degree and just building that brotherhood with family and building this community up is amazing.
I want to shift the focus now on going back to this doubleheader just yesterday, 24 hours ago, with the Indiana State Sycamores taking on UIC. And they just really laid the smackdown on them, making contact 31 times. They added 23 total runs in those 2 games on the doubleheader. And they're just really proving that, even though after a rocky start to the season, they're proving to everyone that they are still legitimate contenders. And the one thing that I have to say quickly, shout out, I want to talk about it just a little bit actually, is congratulations to head coach Mitch Hannes, as he did pick up his 100th overall victory as an MVC head coach. 176-1 record overall, pushing his Sycamores right now on the season to 14-12. Would it, like something like that, such a huge number and award right there, do you think that's like playing in the back of his head, or is it just, got to move on to the next day?
I feel like how fast-paced baseball is, it's just you got to move on to the next day,
Right.
The team probably took it, congratulated him. He got to move on to the next day because they got a big game coming up on Tuesday.
Yes, they do.
I disagree with Ralph.
Oh, hey.
I disagree with Ralph only because I think the 100th win is such big in your career. Like, that's something that you look forward to as a coach, and that's something that you look forward to just being a part of that moment. And him seeing that he won his 100th game, I think that made him prove that he's able to be a head coach, that he's built for this life. No, and I think, I think it's amazing that he got that 100th win.
Yeah, not saying it's not amazing. I don't think that was the question. I think he said, how do they go on forward? Like, you can dwell on it, but you can't just let it sit in the back of your mind knowing you're playing a team like IU coming up.
Yeah, exactly.
On Tuesday.
And IU, and that's a big game because just 2 weeks ago when they played, they were just demolished, 15-5. So something right there has to change. And, I mean, they do this series once, every year where they go and they come here, Bloomington to Terre Haute. So hopefully getting them here on their home field when they play at Bob Warren, it's a different story. Now, will it be? It just depends. Now, this is a very different team. Baseball is just the kind of sport where you cannot think about the day yesterday, whereas you don't have a lot of time to practice, and you only really have a few hours to look at the film and then get ready for the pitching and for the contact of the hitting. So the fielding has to be worked on, I think. The hitting is definitely not an issue at all. They're making contact with the ball. A few names that just come to mind is Seth Gurley, just yesterday. In both games, 6 at-bats, had 4 hits. Jose Arenado, excuse me if I mispronounced that, 5 at-bats. He had 2 hits. So it's definitely not that's the issue. It's just more of a consistency thing at this point, you guys think?
Going back to Seth, I mean, his average is 360, which is amazing right now.
The highest on the team.
And highest one on the team. And we also have another, Luis. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but he has a 301 average. So we can hit the ball. That's not an issue. We just have to play better defense. And we just can't let teams just get on hot runs. I think once the bleeding starts, it doesn't end. We need to start putting Band-Aids on the wins.
So, I mean, the game, unfortunately, we will not be able to carry that game for you guys tomorrow. Just a little bit of conflict issue with just room in the media room, in the press box. So we will not be able to carry that game, but we will have all 3 Southern Illinois, or is it Southern Illinois? I can't even think. I just read the wrong team. Indiana State has matchups all weekend long on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, when I do believe they will take on Southern Illinois coming up. Unless I'm mistaken, that might be Illinois State. It's one of the two. It's one in Illinois. It has to be the Illinois. It might be the Redbirds. If I'm not, is it the Redbirds? Someone looking for
It's
me?
Illinois State.
Okay, I figured
we
so.
can't get our biggest rivalry wrong, Coby.
I'm sorry.
It's Illinois State. We hate them. Remember that.
I was reading the stats on the season. I saw Southern Illinois, and I always get
we the
confusing.
real ISU.
Ooh,
Yeah, Rolf. I love it, baby.
bring that energy up.
I love it, baby.
Got to see it. No, but we will be bringing all live game coverage Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Just follow up on our Twitter at WZIS-FM for the latest and greatest live updates and see what is going on with ISU baseball. But tomorrow they will be taking on IU, so good luck to them. Get that one back. I know we're a Hoosier State, but not tomorrow. We're a Sycamore State, baby.
Yep. Roll trees, baby. Roll trees.
Roll trees. Love to see it. Look, we're going to focus now a little bit on Indiana State softball. As a softball team, they have done an A-OK job a little bit. I mean, they kind of had their, ups and downs on the season. They dropped a doubleheader. This weekend was just not their kind of game. See, this is what I got confused with. They're playing Southern Illinois. That's my bad. I got the script wrong, guys. They fell to a 17-17 overall record. They were on a hot streak, 6-0 undefeated in the MVC, but these past weekend matchups going to 6-3. And softball, no different really from baseball, other than just a few intangibles of the game. But still, you got to be able to hit that ball, you got to be moving the bases, and having a great job fielding on that specific day. So when you look at this for ISU specifically, dropping their last 3, does that really just play a little bit of a factor into the mind games? I
think personally it does, because dropping these 3 games that are conference games by the scores of 5-1, 1-0, and 2-0, it's tough because it shows that you can't you can't hit the ball. We're not able to get runs, which is needed. And we're not playing terrible right now, but we're on a 5-game losing streak, which is tough because you're gonna think man, when can I get that next W? But I think that against Evansville, especially it being at home, I think that the favor is with us, and I think that we could actually go on a hot streak, going 3 straight games against Evansville, Northern Iowa, and Northern Iowa. All those games being at home, I think that we can get hot, and I think this is what the softball team needs.
Yeah, I just think, if they pick it up offensively, because their defense is pretty good. All their games, they haven't let no more than 6 runs. It's just being able to get that contact, being able to get on base. That's what I think the real problem is, and I think they can really pick that up with Evansville on Tuesday.
Yeah, they're going to have to. I mean, Sycamore softball, they were also – I was looking at the schedule like last season, and they were also just going up and down along at the time. And, I think baseball and softball, the biggest thing about them is the momentum. Because you can see small spurts of momentum go in football and definitely in basketball going up and down that court. But when you see game after game, if this day wasn't good, you're going to have to try and rally back. And it just doesn't really show. That's why there's so many losing streaks in the majors and so many winning streaks as well. So it's a big mental game that plays well into that.
I mean, it's confidence. You hit the ball once, and then you go up to bat and you hit it again, and you just feel like the next game is just going to continue. But also, it could work against you, and you haven't hit. You getting striked out, fly balls, pop-ups. And it's just like, man, when am I going to be able to get a run? And I think that it's all psychology. I think it's all mental, and I think that, man, if you get hot in baseball, you can go 6 straight, 7 straight, 9 straight. But if you get cold in baseball, with baseball being so close together and baseball and softball being so close together where you have to play each other like 2 times a week, 3 times a week, once you get cold, it's hard to get your mind out the gutter and saying that I could be able to beat this team after I just lost to this team yesterday and I lost to this team 2 days before that. It's just tough.
That's currently what they're going on right now, a 5-game losing streak for the Sycamore softball program. After starting out pretty nice, it's definitely something that they're going to have to fix up here in the next couple of games. As we mentioned already, they'll take on Evansville tomorrow. Something that's just that cannot fly for them is the hitting. When you look back at both games, a combined for yesterday's for their last double header against Southern Illinois, their last 2 games, a combined 4 total hits. And that's just, you're not going to get anything going that way. And they were held scoreless. So really, I mean, Southern Illinois, they're a good team. They're one of the best in the Valley and 26-5 record. So is Indiana State going to be prepared for Evansville? Do they shake it off? Because they also don't have a whole lot of time to be able to do this. But we're going to have to hope and find out what they got. And good luck to them. And as Indiana State, when you look at it, they're going to really going to need this victory. The contact just has to happen. We want to see them turn it around, and you can go support them when they come back home. Evansville Purple Aces tomorrow, set for 4 p.m. But we're going to take a quick 1-minute break here on Sports Extra, and when we come back, we are going to be talking a little bit about the Indianapolis Colts, what our opinions are on what they're doing with the 4th overall pick in the upcoming NFL draft, just now less than 4 weeks away. And then we're going to end things off with the Indiana Pacers. Only 3 regular season home games. What is their confidence like? Are they going to make the play-in? And what are they looking forward to in free agency and the draft? Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here in 1 minute on Sports Extra.
Hey, Dad, how do you throw a curveball? How do you build a fort? How do refrigerators run? How do fish learn how to swim?
Kids ask a lot of questions.
How high can you jump?
But you don't have to know every answer.
How many phone numbers are there?
Because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent.
How do cell phones work?
There are thousands of children in foster care who don't need every question answered.
What's electricity?
They just need you.
What's the moon made of?
For more information on how you can adopt, go to adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Welcome to Dial a Movie, your one-stop guide to what's playing. For the Hollywood blockbuster, Anything But Sunshine, press 1. For the romantic comedy, Anything But Sunshine, press 2. And for Anything But Sunshine...
You expect options everywhere else in life. Are you getting them when it comes to your medical treatment? Explore all your options and talk with your doctor about what's right for you. Knowing your options is the best option. Learn more at ahrq.gov. That's ahrq.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
We are back live here on Sports Extra. I'm Coby Clark. To my left, we have Ralph Council, and to my right, C.J. Cooper. C.J., there's another C.J. that we're actually be talking about here. The Ohio State quarterback, C.J. Stroud. But before we can get that, just a little bit of an introduction. As if you guys didn't know, the Colts, well, they're awful. Just to be quite frank with you guys. A lot of high expectations when they brought in Matt Ryan. That defense, at the time, the number 1 running back heading into the league was Jonathan Taylor.
Yep.
Injuries. Oh, yeah, and more injuries plagued them all season long. And that's why we are now here with the Indianapolis Colts at the 4th overall pick. And you know, boys, the one thing that really has been messing with my head recently is I think C.J. Stroud could have been the Colts quarterback. I think Houston, without a doubt, has been firm on selecting Alabama's Bryce Young. But ever since the Chicago and Carolina trade, which sent Carolina to the number 1 pick, who is in desperate need of a quarterback, that kind of messed with the Colts system. Now we might see C.J. Stroud going to Carolina, or maybe they have their eyes set on the prize of Bryce Young. Either way, I think those are the 2 quarterbacks that are going to be taken away early, so that will leave either Anthony Richardson from Florida or Will Levis from Kentucky to be available for the Indianapolis Colts. Now, the thing is about the Colts, we got to talk about this. We talked about it last week, me and Joe, was Lamar Jackson being able to potentially come to the Colts. I know CJ's smiling about it. There's a huge possibility. I don't know what he's going to do. I think Baltimore's low-key just holding him hostage at this point.
At this point, they're holding him hostage.
I just think the French taught, the deal, that was non-exclusive. So if somebody else signed them, they got to give up 2 first-round picks. I think that's kind of ridiculous. I mean, at this point, you're holding him hostage. You're basically going to let that talent waste for a year, because once that year is up, he's not going to stay. You might as well try to sign him and trade him, try to get something back.
Yep.
But I think they're banking on somebody signing him and getting those 2 first-round picks, which I don't think is going to happen, because teams really don't want to take that. It's not. I wouldn't say it's a risk. If I was a GM, honestly, I'd be strongly considering it.
I think it's hard to say.
You kind of got to, man. It's Lamar Jackson. You don't think he got 2 more years? You can get good
He's got
picks
about 8, 10.
Exactly. And you got to think about it, man. Some of the best players be selected in the 2nd and 3rd round. DK Metcalf,
True.
Debo Samuels.
Okay.
Tom Brady was like the last pick in the NFL.
I knew he was going to say that.
Let him cook.
I knew he was going to say that.
Let me cook.
Tom Brady's just different. We don't.
We can't compare
that
Tom.
That was just crazy. Brock Purdy, nah.
Brock Purdy.
Is it a little too early, guys?
I would definitely say
I don't know
so.
about all that.
I don't know about that one, guys. I mean, he's a.
I don't know. We gotta give him one more season though. He did have an amazing rookie season though.
Shout out to him. He saw his opportunity. He took it. He ran with it.
What would you do if you're San Francisco?
If you didn't read my article, go read that.
Yeah.
Get Lamar Jackson.
I set that up for him.
He did.
I set that
That's
up
a good
for him.
plug. While we're at it, just go check out the website, WZIS-FM. You can see every article from sports, news, and entertainment, plus what's going on here in the station. Be kind of cool. Go read up.
Yes, sir.
You have to know your knowledge. That's why we're here to provide you such great content every week, every day. I don't sleep.
Every Tuesday, check out the best show, Sports Extra Uncut, baby. 2:30 to 3:30 on Twitch.
Facts. Twitch.tv/WZIS-FM. Well, let's unplug just a little bit and talk about the Colts. Now, let's be honest. Lamar Jackson, it's what, a 5% chance this happens? I don't think it's going to. So the real possibility, and the one that's been really just hammered into the skull of a lot of fans, is the guy Will Levis. I personally have been saying ever since the Colts' end of the season that this was the most likely pick, but I didn't want it to happen. Before the trade, I was so confident that C.J. Stroud would fall to them, but that's not what it's going to look like right now. So you're going to have to really focus on Will Levis or Anthony Richardson, but I still feel like people aren't really have a whole lot of hope for him. They just see the potential. I mean, let's look at Zach Wilson 2 years ago. He had a great pro day, and what are the Jets in now? They might have Aaron Rodgers. They may not. I don't even know what's going on.
But at the same token, we can't act like Zach Wilson has the physical traits that Anthony Richardson has. Zach
true.
Wilson
Okay.
was 6'2", 200 pounds, soaking wet. And yes, he had a nice pro day, but I mean, he played nobody. He played at BYU, which isn't known for football. He didn't have great stats. He had one good year. And I think that the Jets kind of like overhyped himself. They seen that the quarterbacks during that time, they was comparing him to Aaron Rodgers, which is outrageous to me.
That is crazy.
They was comparing him to Brett Favre because honestly, yes, the comparisons was crazy. But honestly, they just seen a great arm, a small kid that wasn't huge, and they just wanted to compare him to the closest people that they think is like that. And we got to stop doing that as GMs and scouts. We have to value every player off what you see by them, not what you think they can be, not what you hope that they can be, not that you've seen 2 years ago, and it's like, oh, they kind of fit similar and trying to force the agenda. We have to stop doing that. And that's what I think is going to happen with Will Levis. I think if you're a Colts fan, you should try not to get Will Levis on your team because, I mean, look at his stats. First of all, 19 touchdowns, 10 interceptions with 2,406 yards in his senior year. He was 64 completion rate, which is not terrible, but he also played an RPO system, which is very easy completions.
Yes.
Check downs, slants, not really deep balls. He has a great arm, don't get me wrong, he has a cannon, but also he doesn't make good decisions. A lot of guys are trying to compare him to Josh Allen because
that's what everyone's saying.
6'5", 237 Josh Allen was, and Will Levis is 6'4", 230. But at the same time, Josh Allen, even though he played at Wyoming, he was dominant at Wyoming.
Yeah.
I don't think Will Levis has been dominant at Kentucky. I think he was good, but I don't think he was dominant.
It plays a huge factor in the conference you're in. I mean, you're playing some of the best SEC defenses on a weekly basis. Will Levis, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this man's all hype or anything. I just don't think he will pan out the way that you want. But it seems like all, indications are leaning towards the Colts taking him. Ralph, what are your thoughts on that?
I think, like, looking at stats, kind of like how you talked about how, like, a lot of his stuff was RPO and, like, easy checkdowns and things like that. And just looking at I'm comparing in the seasons a little bit. He did have 2 more touchdowns than Richardson, but he also threw 1 more interception. And Richardson had a 71.2 pass rating, while Levis had 60.9, which is that also because that's a whole 11 points really. So just like comparing the stats and like what I saw, like the different things I saw from them, like he did have a good pro day. He did come out there and show that he had an arm coming from an RPO, which is a lot of short passes and dink and dumps. He showed that he had an arm, but also, I just think Anthony Richardson, he's mobile. And kind of like,
Lamar Jackson.
Exactly. But he's 6'4", 232 pounds.
That's like Cam Newton right there.
Exactly.
I think he's Cam Newton 2.0.
That's what everyone
2.0.
says.
I think he's Cam Newton 2.0.
As well.
Thinking about it, quarterbacks in Indianapolis are known for what?
Passing.
Getting hit a lot, man.
True.
Taking a couple hits, too many hits. He can possibly be able to maybe take more hits than the quarterbacks that we had. You know what I'm saying? So until we build our O-line up, I feel like Anthony Richardson might be the best option because I feel like he's 6'4", 232. He'll be able to stand in the pocket and also get out the pocket and run and make those plays.
Like what Rolf was saying, I think Anthony Richardson is the perfect player for the Colts is because when you have a running back like Jonathan Taylor, the RPOs with Anthony Richards and Jonathan Taylor will be crazy.
I'm going to let you cook, man.
Just because Jonathan Taylor already brings like 6 to 7 in the box, and him bringing those many people down in the box, it creates a lot of one-on-one matchups, which will make Michael Pittman Jr. so much more efficient compared to Will Levis. He doesn't scare teams running the ball. He doesn't scare teams because he's not explosive. And he has a great cannon, but is he accurate as cannon?
Now, here's the thing. I like what you said right there. Some quarterbacks, they don't need to scare you when running the ball, but they can run the ball. Like if Dak Prescott were to take off, he's going to get an easy 5-10 yards. Andrew Luck, he would used to do that.
Yeah,
Even
exactly.
Aaron Rodgers, you wouldn't want him running because he's going to manage somehow a first down. Now, there's quarterbacks that are primarily known for running the ball. When you look at like Lamar Jackson, for example, but he can also throw, and he proved that his MVP season. And I think he's still proving it right now. He's just not getting enough credit.
Man, I feel like Lamar Jackson does not get enough credit as to leading that team almost to the playoffs before getting hurt. And I also don't like the criticism he received for not playing in that playoff game,
It's just, how it is. Critics alike, they don't really want to, tell the whole truth.
Exactly. Like, if you're in your contract year, why would you want to go play in that game and possibly get hurt? Look what happened to RG3. He went out there for the team.
And RG3, I've been checking him on Twitter and Instagram, and he's been very influential on his decision and his takes on this whole thing.
Yep.
He's a former teammate of him in Baltimore.
Yep.
So, I mean, I know RG3 don't want to see what happens, like what happened to him happen to Lamar. So, definitely the smart move.
I mean, look at RG3, though. He had he was on his rookie contract, had a great rookie year, had a great second year, and now he's only 32 years old and been out the league for 3 years because he didn't take care of his responsibility by getting that contract first. And I think that people like RG3 walked so Lamar Jackson could run. And I say that for example because, I mean, Lamar Jackson wouldn't have the confidence to hold out and wouldn't have the confidence to not play in that playoff game if they didn't see RG3 do the same thing, be in the same predicament, and see the bad thing that happened to him. So I think that this is going to help future quarterbacks realize, like, man, once I show them my proof and once I show my value, you have to pay me at this point. Lamar Jackson needs to get paid, and I think if we don't want to draft these two quarterbacks that hopefully can get to Lamar Jackson level, why not go get a Lamar Jackson? You already seen that he's an MVP caliber. You have a team that's not young. Your team is not terrible. We lost a lot of games because of not only injuries but not quarterback play. Matt Ryan was on your team. No offense to Matty Ice, but it's the reason why he's named Matty Ice. So because of that, I mean, the Colts defense is still not bad. Even though losing Stephon Gilmore was huge, they're still not bad program.
Too. They got a fifth-round pick out of it, though.
Yeah, so you could draft a corner already off of that. So for them being in that situation, you're not a young team. You have pieces. Why not go get a star quarterback and see what you could do? You're in a wide open conference. Wide open conference.
You think the AFC is wide open?
Not the conference. I'm sorry. Division. I'm sorry.
Right.
The division is wide open. Not the conference. Not the conference.
Take right there.
Not the conference. Not the conference. The division is wide open. You could continue to be in the playoffs. And I mean, hey, playoff football, you only win one game. If you could sneak past KC, which is dang near impossible, hey, you could be in the Super Bowl. Hey, why not?
Hey,
Colts in 3.
Well, there's a lot of great teams.
You see what happened to the Bengals. They snuck past, but they just couldn't pull it out.
I mean, when you look at it, I know what you're trying to say. So let's just take two different paths. Let's say we take path A. The Colts decide to draft young. They go young. They go Will Levis or they go Anthony Richardson. You're setting yourself up for a guy that can grow with the city and build chemistry. Perfect. Peyton Manning has done that. Andrew Luck at one time did that. He still lives here in Indy. Something like that can grow, and he can build enough with this team, but they're not going to compete right away. And that's the thing. You're not going to be able to compete with the Bengals, the Chiefs, the Bills, Dolphins, teams like that right now. But if you take the direction with the plan B of wanting to go out and say, hey, let's trade for Lamar Jackson. We already done messed up with Carson Wentz and Matt Ryan. Why not make it a third? No, I'm kidding. Lamar Jackson is a lot different than those two.
Way different. Let's not do that.
I know. I try to make a joke. Lamar, on the other hand, will give you, they'll pay him. Any team in the right mind will pay up for this man. And with a potential dynamic duo of Jonathan Taylor, the backfield, your top 5, top 10 O-line when healthy, and then you have a nice weapon on the outside with Michael Pittman Jr. The defense, it did get a little bit worse, but hey, the draft is still coming up, so we're going to see how they work on that. That can easily push you to a top 5 team in the AFC. Also, that's only if they take that choice.
Also, with plan B, like what Coby was saying, what wins playoff games? Running the ball and a good defense. You could build the defense in the draft. A lot of these players that are coming in the draft are very good defensively. It's probably one of the best defensive class in a long time.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, one of the best defensive classes in a long time. But not only that, though, with Lamar Jackson and Jonathan Taylor just pounding you and then just throwing slants, fades. It's just amazing. Like, I think that team could be very dominant. But at the same token, if you go the young path with Anthony Richardson and Will Levis, I'm going to say Anthony Richardson because I don't want Will. So with Anthony Richardson, you're saying build and develop, but at the same time, the quarterbacks in AFC are all young. So how long are you going to wait? Josh Allen is young. Patrick Mahomes is young.
Well, they got Shane
Justin Herbert is young. All these guys that are up next are all young. So if you go the young path, when are you going to ever get on top? But if you go around the time with Lamar Jackson, you build a couple pieces and boom, you might be playing for a conference championship. But with Anthony Richardson, you have to wait on him to develop. You have to wait on him to get used to the program, get used to NFL. That's about 3 years.
It takes time.
It takes time.
We're not going to, just find a diamond in the rough like
and
Patrick
then
Mahomes.
You have Jonathan Taylor, who's a running back, which years goes down too. So 3 years from now, is Jonathan Taylor the same Jonathan Taylor?
That's the questions they're asking themselves right now. I mean, it also plays a huge part in the coaching system and who you got around a young quarterback. So say, for example, if they take Will Levis or Anthony Richardson, I'm going to say Anthony Richardson because I like his upside a little bit more. Will he potentially be better in 3 years than what Lamar Jackson can do right now? And that depends on Shane Steichen and bringing in his own coaching staff. It's just a lot of toss-ups and a lot of questions that need to be answered. And we'll get our answers come the draft. So we're going to have to figure that out. Ralph, I don't know what you say about it, but
I think if we're not going to get Lamar Jackson, we get Anthony Richardson. That's the best option.
But what's the most likely option? It's probably Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
But according to reports, it looks like they like Will Levis a little bit more. It's tough, man.
I'm gonna hate that one. I really am. I was really gonna grind my gears if we take Will Levis.
It's understandable. No, I like to think if they really want to trade for Lamar, that's 2 first-round picks, so you're already giving up the number 4 spot, and that would probably pain them more because if you bring in Lamar and then you give the 4th overall pick to Baltimore, they could take Anthony Richardson. I think Anthony Richardson in 3 years, 4 years, can probably be better than what Lamar can give you now. But this Lamar Jackson can help you win compared to what the team around and Anthony Richardson can do.
Yeah, exactly. It all depends on your timeline and your stars, but also you have to think about your stars. Jonathan Taylor is kind of older. Starting linebacker is kind of older. All the stars in Indy are kind of older. They kind of want to win now. They have been through that development stage. They have been through that young stage. It's time to get a quarterback in there that can win now. You have stars to play around him. Michael Pittman Jr. will be going to his 4th year. It's time.
It's tough, man.
It's time.
Is it time?
And in my opinion, the Colts for even thinking about Will Levis over Anthony Richardson is crazy because when Anthony Richardson played against a top 3 team in Tennessee, he lost 44-6, went 16 for 27 completion, and he had 3 interceptions, 0 touchdowns. And his longest pass of the day was a 24-yard throw, which was actually an RPO that was a thrown 7-yard slant, and a receiver went 17 yards.
It's tough for you Colts fans out there.
I don't know
I got
about
my
that
own
one.
issues, but I don't talk about that on this show because I like to keep it inside, like my feelings. Anyway, last segment today, boys. The Indiana Pacers. What cannot be said that's already been said about this team? They're exciting. They're full of potential. They have so much youth. Such a different team that we have been accustomed to over the last couple of seasons. When you date back to what 2012 was like, when we were probably all in the 5th and 6th grade in elementary and middle school, they were competing for the championship. Unfortunately for them, they decided to run into the greatest basketball player of all time, LeBron James.
I like that, Coby.
Yeah.
I like that, Coby.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I know.
You know he got 2 Braun fans in here. That's why he said that.
I'm not that big of a Braun fan, but I know you two are. I love Braun, don't get me wrong, but hey, he's a great player. But anyway, the Pacers ran into them. And then the Paul George injury. And then there's just this, like, what do we do now? Where do we go from here? We're losing players. Roy Hibbert fell off the face of the earth. David West decided to leave town. George Hill wasn't there. Lance Stevenson even left at one point before coming back. So, and then you go out and get Miles Turner. You're competing, but you're not really. You're competing in that 5th and 7th spot range in the conference. And it's a lot different than it is now, where you can still be a top 10 team, bottom 10, where you're at the 6th or 10th spot and you can still make the tournament or the play-in. March Madness is on my mind. But when you now look at it, they trade Paul George. We're like, oh, maybe it's time, we go for a full rebuild. Nope, Victor Oladipo and Domantas Sabonis just come here and just dominate a lot of opponents, giving a lot of fans and just critics alike a lot of high hopes and praise. But who do they run into? LeBron James. This time in Cleveland, unfortunately. The GOAT. And then, we're fighting back and forth, just first-round exit after first-round exit, and it was finally time to change things up. Victor, I don't know whatever happened to Victor. This man, one day he's like, this is my city, and then he's, I'm going to leave. Dip. I'm out. Peace. He went to Miami, so good for him. Sabonis stayed, and last season was a little oopsie-daisy, upsy-down kind of season. And then we finally trade Sabonis, which kind of, cemented the rebuilding process. And now he's shout out.
Best move the Pacers could make.
For Sabonis, trading Sabonis?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think this is probably one of the most equal trades in recent NBA history.
It will pay off for
because
us eventually.
look at the Kings. They made the playoffs for the first time, 16 years?
06 was the last season.
16.
They made the playoffs.
16 years.
That's outrageous.
Trivia question. Who is the now longest tenured U.S. sports team of the top 4 teams to not make the playoffs?
Wait, one more time.
So the Kings had the record
Mm-hmm.
for the longest time without making the playoffs in the top 4 sports teams: baseball, basketball, football, and hockey. Who is now the current record holder of that? Either you guys know?
Can you give me like the league? Give me a hint.
It might be too easy. I'll give you the football. It's football.
Is it the Browns?
It's not. They made the playoffs with Baker.
They sure did. They sure did.
They
just
sure
lock in.
did.
They sure
Lock
did.
in, Ralph.
I'm gonna give you a buzzer. You have 5, 4.
Houston Texans. No. They
No,
just made it
that's
with
too
Deion.
bad. It's
Yeah.
the Jets.
Oh, I just seen that too, bro.
The New York Jets are now
I just.
The last
top
time it was
4.
in 2010. I keep
2011 or
forget.
something like that.
It's 2023. Oh my gosh.
We're old. And you know what that means?
That is
my parents are
old.
old. Which means your parents are old.
No,
So get
that
with the
means I
times.
need to start getting this bag.
I just seen that too. I literally just
Yeah, I
seen that
know.
on Instagram.
That is
bro.
crazy.
One of the greatest quotes I've ever seen. Time does not wait for no man. It doesn't.
No, it does not.
No. Either you're on time
2023.
or you're out. But regardless of that, back to basketball.
Yeah, I was
The
gonna say.
yeah, I
But
forgot
just
what we were
think
talking
about the Jets.
The
They were
Pacers.
close to making it to this year.
That was a great trade for Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be an even better trade for us. It will pay off. And you know why?
I love Tyrese Halliburton.
That's why. Tyrese will be. He's already in his first All-Star game.
Mm-hmm.
Miles Turner came back. Buddy Hield. He's been doing a great contribution.
Man, I love Buddy Hield, man. Shoot that ball, man. He can shoot that thing.
And you know how many first-round picks we have this year? Not 1, not 2, not 4, but 3. 3 first-round picks.
I like that. You know, normally you're supposed to go 5, 4, 2, 3.
Calm down, LeBron.
Oh, my bad. It's too easy.
Not 1, not 2.
No, 2, not 3.
But I think with the Pacers, looking at it, and shout out Hannah Frederick. I know she's in the station right now. I know you're listening. We went to the Pacer game on Friday. Great game was that game. Even though I don't want them to win, it was still a lot of fun seeing them play in person and being in Gainbridge Fieldhouse for that victory against the Thunder.
So, this is my first time on this show, so you guys don't know how big of a LeBron fan I am. So, I'm so happy that the Pacers beat the Thunder.
Man,
I was
just
so
about to
happy
say
that they were happy.
Thunder have always had
half a
issues.
game out to 6. Lakers fans, let's wake up, baby. Half a
It's
game.
our time. It's our time.
I just want to let everybody know. I told the station, everybody at the station, this was gonna happen. You know, D'Angelo. We're not gonna get into that because it's not uncut. But you know,
Maybe
when I
tomorrow.
said that trade happened,
Hey, tomorrow, 2:30 to 3:30, we can talk about that. Best believe. Lakers in 5, baby. But that's beyond the point.
Let's be on the point because now we're focused on the Pacers. They're at the 13th spot right now in the Eastern Conference standings.
yeah.
They have 3 regular season games left. Wednesday, they take on the Knicks. Then they take on their last home team against the Detroit Pistons, and then the Knicks again. At this point, it's really what does the coaching staff believe in? Because as a fan, the Knicks made the playoffs again. Shout out to New York basketball. You're back. The Pistons is an easy victory. But I can't say that really because they're such an up and down team. They can be high. They can be really high. They can really have their lows as well. I think the Pacers, what they just need to do, just roll out with your young guys these last 3 games, crop it out, and just get this draft lottery going for them.
Yeah, I just think they need to let the young players get some run. Sit down Tyrese for the rest of the season. Jordan, I don't really want to say his name wrong. I don't want to say his last name wrong, but Jordan Nwora.
Nwora, yeah.
Yep.
Bro, can I tell you
Didn't
something?
he have like 25 points in like a quarter or something?
I don't know about that decision, guys. And let me explain this. I don't think that you need to sit anybody. Yes, you're not going to make the play-in because even if you win all 3 games, the Bulls only have to win 1 game, and they're already in the play-in.
Right.
But you don't want to start that losing mentality of sitting games where you're not in the playoffs. You have nothing to play for, yes, but at the same token, you have the whole offseason to rest. Why not go into the offseason winning 3 straight games, positive energy, knowing that this is going to be your season next year, compared to going into a 3-game losing streak, and you're sitting your best players out, your fans. These are the last game at home you will see Tyrese this year. Why not let him have a game?
He didn't even play this past weekend.
I know that's not the point though. It's not the point.
CJ, I know what you're saying.
It's not the point.
I completely understand, but you got to think about this from like a money standpoint, bro. Like if he go out there and he get hurt,
he's not playing.
That's a bad investment.
We need to have him on the bench.
That's a bad investment.
He has a whole offseason to get ready.
It don't matter. One ACL, he's gone.
He's done for the season.
He will be donezo. Man, this is the smart thing.
Me and Coby was just talking about this. ACLs are not that huge no more. They're honestly just a bigger ankle sprain.
Whoa! I didn't agree to that. I didn't. Hot take. I wouldn't even remember this conversation.
Brother,
this man.
Said, look what a torn ACL did to my brother D Rose. So you just called it another.
In 2011,
it don't
matter now.
It don't matter.
It is 2023.
Okay, let's roll back in. Reel it in now, gentlemen.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
He gets me upset sometimes.
Okay, you guys are like brothers.
That was just a crazy take. I just couldn't believe it.
Look,
almost walked out.
I know what you're saying, CJ. But here's 3 wins on a meaningless season. These 3 wins will mean absolutely nothing. All it will do is mess up their draft lottery selection.
You're not getting the first pick anyway.
You don't know that. It's not like the NFL.
That doesn't matter. It's not like the first pick. But think about it. You're 13th in the East. The West come in. That's like 5 teams in front of you to have worse records.
I'm looking at NBC, the mock giraffe. You feel me? We sitting at the 8th spot.
Woohoo.
Huh?
Woohoo. At 8th spot. Who are you going to get at the 8th spot?
Grady Dick.
Looking at
who?
Grady Dick from Kansas. Or Gary Dick. Or is it Grady? I just looked at his name.
It's Grady.
Okay.
I just want to mess with you.
What are we doing right now?
The mock giraffe is saying Cameron Whitmore from Villanova. I like him. 6'6", 200 pounds.
Is he going to be dominant?
We don't know that.
Is he the next Miles Turner?
We don't need a next Miles.
Is he the next?
We want the next LeBron James.
You're not getting LeBron James at the 8th pick. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
There's never going to be a LeBron James.
You're not getting Bronny. You're not getting none of them in the 8th pick. So why not win 3 straight games? Go out on your high horse. No, go out on your high horse and be dominant. Be great.
What is going on right now?
Listen, man, I'm trying to tell you,
on?
if we take these 3 L's, jump up a couple spots. I don't think you understand what I'm saying to you, brother. I don't think you understand what's going on.
I'm locked in.
You're not listening to the pod. You're not letting me cook, man. You just keep.
I don't want to let you cook no more.
Listen, you keep turning.
It's
my
terrible.
You keep turning my.
It's terrible. It's not salted.
Man.
I don't want to let you cook no more.
I'm trying to put some seasoning, salt, a little garlic, onion, pepper.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
You ain't even let it finish.
I don't like it.
You ain't let it finish though.
It's bad.
I'm telling you,
it's bad.
Cam Whitmore, I just watched me had a pretty good tournament, man.
Give me his stats right now.
Huh?
Give me his stats right now in the tournament.
Let me pull up his stats, man.
What does this have to do?
That's not the point, because I'm proving this point to Rolf. It's not the point.
Y'all got me cracking up here.
Because why are we not trying to win 3 games, go on a winning streak, and go into next season thinking like, man, this is going to be our year next year. We're 37-45, but look, next year we're going to be 41-41.
We could
we're
be a completely different team though, CJ, next year. Who knows if we're bringing back a lot of these guys?
Who else? I mean, your star player is coming back. Miles Turner is coming back. Your second best player. And that's all you need.
Don't say that.
That's all you need. Go get you some good role players.
You got it, bro, because I just looked, bro. Why Villanova ain't even make the tournament?
That's why I asked him to look it up. Hey, I'm evil. I'm a gremlin.
That's crazy. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, wait a minute.
They definitely ain't made the
tournament. That's why I asked him the stats.
I think they made the NIT.
They made the NIT.
Barely.
But he's still.
I think they lost in the first round.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Look, Grady Dick, he still could be a pick, bro. He did have a good tournament. Okay.
And what is he gonna be in NBA? What is he gonna be in NBA?
Larry Bird. No, I'm just playing.
He's gonna be like Kevin from Atlanta.
Kevin Huerter?
Yes.
Hey, wow. Quick side story. Kevin Huerter messed me up out of $300.
Whoa. Let's stop that topic right now.
Hey, I'm just saying he was the only one, and he really did not pull. I needed 10 points from my man, and he only gave me 7.
Oh,
It
exactly.
hurt.
And you want that? You want that next year? Instead of
Why are you
games?
comparing him to Kevin Herter, bro?
Because they play the exact same.
No, they don't.
And watch his tape.
Grady Dick can get to the basket, bro. He can
Kevin
penetrate.
did in college too.
Bro, I just don't think you seeing the upside in Grady Dick.
I'm
bro.
not. I'm not.
Look,
I'm not.
Grady Dick, with all these players, I don't even know if I even want the man. Why would we need a shooting guard? We don't need a shooting guard.
That's why are we talking about an 8th pick when we can be
It's
37 to
small forward
45,
compared to NBC.
37 to 45, and we're on a high streak going into the next season, and I think that's going to be our year next year. Why? 3 games?
CJ, you might be the only person
3
to
games?
think that.
Yeah, you might be the only person in
We
the
are
state of
years
Indiana.
away from making noise in the East again.
We got at least do you see
At
how
least-
tough the competition
Do you
is in the
see
East?
Joel
So-
Embiid,
Yeah,
James
you got Miles
Harden,
Turner for that.
Jason Tatum? Don't say
Giannis?
that. Giannis. Like,
You got Giannis, all those guys, and you guys want to worry about a draft pick when you got Tyrese there. Go get him some help. I know Indy ain't
what
that
do we
big.
think we trade us a bonus for, bro? To restart.
that's why we have 3 picks.
We are restarting for what value? Like, go
To
get that
grow.
37 to 45. I want that 37 to 45.
Indiana grows basketball. That is their slogan. You're not letting them grow. You're just trying to pick it
Now,
as soon as you see it come out of
he's
the
not
garden.
letting me cook. He's not letting you cook. He's not letting the Pacers cook. He's not letting nobody cook.
I don't want to see you cook no more. I'm tired of your cooking.
That's it. I'm telling Coach Mallory.
I'm tired of both of their cooking.
I'm telling you, man, they just need to take these 3 games. Let them boys rest. Get them young.
What are we
kids.
resting for? They have a whole offseason to rest.
CJ,
What are we resting for?
What are these 3 wins going to do?
It's not about the
besides
rest.
Give us confidence, bro.
What do you mean?
It's not
We
about
just
the
talking
rest,
about
CJ.
how much confidence is, and you talking about what these 3
We
games
got,
are.
CJ,
bro, we got
do you
the
know how
summer league to
close
do
we
that.
are to the draft lottery? We can easily drop these 3 games and then be way better.
We can have
to
a
the
top
first
5
pick.
possibly,
We get
bro.
top 4.
You're not getting a top 5 pick. You're not.
Bro,
You don't
you're
know
not.
that,
Clip
bro.
this.
You're
And
not.
when the draft lottery happens, tweet CJ Cooper because he is crazy. No, I'm not over here. I'm not gonna just say right now. I'm honestly one against sitting players. That's
And
why they just made a
I
whole new
am
CBA
too.
deal about it.
But listen, I am too. Listen. But when it's nothing left to do,
Except wait for the inevitable.
wait. We're not going to make the
We
playoffs.
have a whole offseason. That's not what you're
What
getting.
did- bro.
We need a better
What did
pick.
Portland do with Damian Lillard, bro? They shut him down.
Get him out of there. I think he's held hostage.
Man,
Something's
say-
going on.
please.
That is not
No.
game.
I'm going to stop you right there.
You're crazy.
He's not held hostage. He wants to be there. He's fighting to stay there.
And he
they
is
tried to
ruining
get
his
him
chances.
out. He is ruining his. I love Damian Lillard. I think he's one of the best shooters of all time.
Well, yeah.
honestly.
Shooters?
Yes,
He is.
Yes,
Statistically, he's like top 10.
Rough.
No.
bro.
CJ,
Be
look.
for real, bro.
I'm going to let you cook, though.
He's like top 10 all time in threes.
Yes, bro. He's
Top
one of the
15.
best. Bro, in our generation, I think he's the second best shooting point guard in our generation.
I wouldn't know. I don't know about that one.
Who? I want to know who.
That's hard, man.
Bro, are you talking about like spot up shooting or are we talking about scoring? I think you're confusing spot up shooting with scoring.
Bro, spot. He don't got a spot up. He makes his own
Are we
shot.
considering James Harden a point guard?
No. What? Ah, man. He
What are
has
we
been playing point
considering
guard for a
Dame?
while.
Because Dame is not a true point guard.
Where have we gone? This
Dame
sports
is
extra
a
has gone off the
combo.
rails.
Really
This
jumped
is
to
crazy.
another
This
dimension.
is a combo
This is
guard.
really
We need to
might
cut
be-
this whole episode.
Like, this is probably going to be one of the best clips if we turn this in.
Look here, guys. Reel it back in a little bit. We
I'm
have
sorry.
technically 1 minute, but we're going to go just a little bit longer because I need to talk about the Indiana Pacers a little bit longer. Now, I know what you're saying, CJ, and how there's a whole offseason to build the confidence, build that chemistry, bring in some more youth. But with these last 3 games that are meaningless, because we are not going to beat the 6th seed, they will embarrass us on national television. We need to at least get a better chance at getting a higher draft pick, and that's what these last 3 games and the draft lottery can do for us. Does that make sense?
Coby, I love the way you slowed it down, and I love the way that you tried to make it seem like so genuine and that's amazing for you. But no, I'm not going for it. I'm not.
He said,
"You know,
you're about to blow someone's car speaker."
He said, but no. Bro, you giving me real Steven Smith vibes. But no. I hate this.
It's my turn.
I hate this.
My
Did
turn.
you, by the way, you seen that on Instagram?
I did.
That's got a point.
I did.
But look, you're gonna play New York on national television.
No, we're not. That's not a national.
You know that's not going.
I know.
This is
but
not
still,
the 90s.
Still, it should
everybody's
be the
just
90s.
gonna go on
That's got a
Streamies
point.
Live.
Okay, that's
go
gonna
watch that game.
Chill. You could be giving out our secrets.
That shit.
Anyway, that's
get
got a
shut
point.
down.
Look. New York, Indiana. You want some free agents, right? You need guys to come in and play. Why not be a playoff team? Why not be a playoff team?
Because the Knicks are
So
really not that
no,
good.
no.
We have one of the smallest.
Why not to
marketplaces for
play
star players? Nobody wants to come here, bro.
Why not? Why nobody wants to come to Indy?
People, our
Why
last
not?
2 star
You need
players
to look in the
left.
mirror.
No.
That
Why
question.
nobody wants
Our
to go to Indy?
last 2 star
Because-
players left us.
Why? Why did they? Because you guys never bring them no help. You never gave them help. Because hold on, no.
Weren't we?
We were a goaltend away from beating the Cavaliers.
That was not a goaltend.
Yes, it
LeBron
was.
definitely
It wasn't
pinned
a
that
goaltend.
shot.
Don't start this with me. and I got my guy in here that wasn't a goaltend.
We pinned that shot. Anyway, beyond the point, why not we go 37-45, prove that we can beat a playoff team going into the end of the season. You come back next year
How do you prove
and you
to be
come
a playoff
compete.
team next year when we ain't make the playoffs this year, dog? Come on,
Because
man.
the Knicks are a playoff team.
The Knicks are a playoff team,
It
bro.
don't matter.
Yes,
bro.
it does. If I beat them 2 games, right, in the end of the regular season when they're playing for something because they don't want to drop down, they're going to have their stars. They're going to have Jalen Brunson. They're going to have Julius Randle out there. And we beat them twice.
You know what this sounds like?
Man.
Sounds like the Houston Texans giving up the number 1 overall pick right now. For all we know, if we lose these 3 games, we cannot get the number 1 pick. And
We're not going to get it anyway.
You don't know that. All right. That's going to cut it. We're out of here today. Ralph has a headache. CJ spitting not facts. I'll say that.
Spitting facts.
No. Look, I'm not one for tanking, but I think it makes sense at this time of year when a lot of the players on your team is young. Get them the experience they need. If they win a game, okay, cool. Good for them. All right. But at the same time, we need to figure out what's next, and that starts with the draft lottery.
That starts by sitting our stars.
That
is
starts
what's
by
next.
building a culture and chemistry.
Gentlemen,
Go win 3 games.
Gentlemen, that's going to end today. It's a great conversation. One of the best times I've had, at least on this show. I had a lot of fun laughing because I just cannot keep my composure. CJ, Ralph, I hope to have you guys back on here soon rather than later.
Next Monday.
Next Monday from
We
6
will
to
be
7.
back.
Oh, you heard it here first. And if you know if one person don't show up, you know who to find.
Just know it won't be Ralph. That won't show up.
Heard you, Rolf. Watch yourself.
Weren't you late?
Watch yourself.
Weren't you late?
Watch yourself.
I won't be late.
All right.
We shall see.
Write that down. Good luck to you, CJ, for the rest of this week with spring ball. Just everything going out there. Seeing Indiana State, baseball and softball, they have a lot going for them as well. Keep up that high tempo. Go out and support your Sycamores. And Ralph, keep doing your thing with everything. And I'm going to keep doing my thing. Coby Clark.
I love it, Coby.
For CJ, for Ralph, I've been the Coby Clark. Until next time, everyone, take care. We'll see you all next week for another great edition of Sports Extra. Take care.